Now our next task asks us to configure our domain controller as a global catalog server. The first domain controller, if you recall, in any domain in Forest is automatically a global catalog. But as we get into production, we may need to add additional global catalogs to support the load. I want to show you the process whereby this is done in the graphical user interface, because it's a little difficult to find here within Active Directory sites and services. So let's poke back here on our server DC really quickly so we can take a look at tools and Active Directory sites and services. Now, the other reason why I'm showing you this here is because now we have our server core machine correctly networked, correctly in the domain. Heck, it's already a domain controller. We can make use of our existing graphically oriented tools to connect remotely to that server to go about different kinds of remote configuration and remote management. And this is one great example of where this is just really easy to do here once we have all those connections in place. As you can see here in Active Directory Sites and Services, we've got a lot of different items that exist here in the tree. And these items will only get larger as the number of different subnets and sites that you may create get large. But one thing we do have to pay attention to, even if we don't go about creating additional sites and subnets, are the configuration on each individual domain controller. Down here are the list of servers that exist in our site called default first site name. And remember, sites are a geographic location for domain controllers. And all of these being in a single spot, we have no need to create additional sites. For each server, if I view the properties of that server, there are just a couple of different items in here, mainly your basic tabs that are generally with all the different items you may choose to view properties on. But the main thing I want to show you is down here, these ntds settings, which is effectively the settings on the NT database services itself. If I take a look at properties down here, it is this checkbox next to Global Catalog that will turn on Global Catalog for this machine. And that's all you need to do to turn this domain controller into one that is also a Global Catalog. Recall that in the old days, with more latent network connections, we had to pay more careful attention to which machines were global catalogs. And if you have extremely light network connections between sites, you may need to as well. But for most of us, considering the network connections we have these days, it's generally a good practice for many environments, outside those that are exceptionally large, to just make all your domain controllers global catalog servers so that they can handle all the necessary requests from incoming clients.